continually give ourselves to the very thing that damages us. But we have given ourselves to the very thing that damages us, whether we are doing that to ask for sympathy or mercy. Mostly is seen as mercy, so that we can be somehow considered and helped and forgiven and all that. But what I'm saying is that if you're listening to most of the tapes, you can see that clearly. I do not think that we have sinned, or we should be put in that state of blaming ourselves of sin or wrongdoing. Considering what we know of the very God that we are worshiping, considering the very God that we are serving, that you sort of believe and give all the respect and the appreciation to. Sorry. By looking at those basic foundations that we've got, that we build our faith on, are we really thinking along the right line to sort of keep blaming ourselves and asking for mercy? Because clearly the very things that we serve, the very things that we are serving, gives us the information and idea to do what we are doing. Even in as far as it is that very spirit or that very format that we have entrusted our life, gave us the life that we have. That is what we believe. If you believe that you got life, if you are not an atheist, then mostly you're the type that believe that there is a God like me. Then somehow you believe that the God that you believe in is uniqueness goes as far as giving you life. He gave you life. He brought you to existence. Not like the father or mother giving birth to you, but much more than that. He created you. He invented you. He brought you to being. He knows what you are. He knows the computer that you are. So your mind, anything in your mind before you think, he knows. Anything that you do, he knows the future of you. He knows the past. This is the sort of the typical serious description we are giving to the God we worship. So if we have this information, based on this information, why then should we even blame ourselves for anything at all? There is no total liberty for us. In every way, we are always in line with the will of God. That is what we must, this is how we have to view things. But if we end up view things in another way, blaming ourselves, having messages coming in telling us that we have sinned, we went to do that, and those things that we did, it was wrong. We've been going wayward. You have a God who you, in some ways, have a dog chain on your neck which pulls you everywhere. How possible can you go wayward? You can't. There's no way you can go wayward. Wayward out of this earth or the universe. You believe that he created the universe. So where are you going to run and hide from him? There's nowhere to hide. If you read a book, it tells you that where will you, even in the Bible it is written there, that where would you hide from God? There is nowhere you can hide from God. That is Jehovah God. But clearly, people run away and hide from Jehovah God. But to what I am presenting to you, the Almighty God, that I say that let him be God. The Almighty God, the Almighty source of life, not a spirit, but much more than a spirit. He is much more than a spirit. God is much more than a spirit, who I am suggesting for us to consider or to see as a God. As I see here, as I'm trying to picture right here, is that He's far beyond us in every way, and we cannot even consider the idea that he will blame us or consider or sort of condemn us from whatever it is that we sort of condemn ourselves of. Why should he do that? Is there a very good reason for him to do that? Now would that same God turn around and tell us that we have done so and so wrong upon the information we know of him? That he knows our mind. He knows the things we think about. He knows us before we were created. He knows us before we were born. Even to the moment that we get born, wherever we are going, whatever it is about our future, he knows about it. Should we think in our mind that he in every way somehow let's say, can tell us that we have sinned or we have gone wrong. I mean, the idea of what we are is completely from him. So it's impossible for us to do anything that he has not will it. Because it is his will that things are done. It is by only his will that things happen. According to Jehovah, I won't go into the Quran yet. According to the Jehovah book of the Bible, the Abrahamic descendants or the Abrahamic presentation, it is clearly stated. I'm not making it up. This is the definition. This is what I clear. I've read it several times for you to see. You can go to Genesis and it is clearly written there. Now, based on that information of what description we have of Jehovah, we see him as a great God in so many sense that will he accuse us of anything? What basis would he base on to accuse us? What will be his grounds of accusation? We claim, it is also written in the book that he claims or tells us that we did that, and specifically open it to us, the things we did or the things that was being done generationally from those that were before us, and had categorically opened it up. Yes, it has been openly written here for us to see of the things that has been put out there. Now, if you look at those things and analyze it and you think of it, you say, okay, those are, he say, God, if God really spoke, then he's told us that Jehovah is telling us that we have done so and so. These are the things we are doing wrong. And it's beyond his control. Is that what we are supposed to think? Okay. So no more should you then classify him, Jehovah God, to be what? Ultimately, the omnipotence or omniscient, or the one that knows all about your future. It's like he's not completely informed of your future, or he's not very much aware of whatever the future was or what the present was, or anyhow he's just putting a guesswork. But if you truly believe that Jehovah is Almighty God, then you have to think along this line. You have no choice than to embrace him in a straightforward line, of which merits what the definition is about. It's definitely saying to you and I that he knows all about you, even before you were made. He made you who you are. He gave you the ideas that you have. He gave you your mindset. Before you think, he knows. You can't outsmart him. Now, if it has happened that he's now telling us that we have sinned, that is if he said it. If he has said it, that we have sinned, or we have done so and so wrong, adultery, fornication, whatever it is, we can just name it whichever way. Then we ask ourselves again that didn't he know? Didn't he make us to become like that? Didn't he give us those? Didn't he place those ideas in our minds? Maybe he did. There are so many suggestions also in the same book that tells us that he intentionally sometimes put us into that state. You could be an adulteress or a prostitute. You could be a thief. You could be a murderer. You could be whatever. He intentionally has invented all the varieties that we see that we are, the varieties of characters that we are. There are so many suggestions from the book that tells us that this is something that God, the hand of God, also does. So what are you supposed to think? What are you and I supposed to think? He invents the problems. He prevents the problems. So it's like a game he himself is doing. And then I have to sit down and analyze it and think again and ask myself, am I serving a God? Yes, maybe I am. But is that the God that I really pleasingly and happily want to serve? Was that my hopes? Strangely enough, that wasn't it. But I can't get off. That's not an excuse.